hundreds of hours shadowing beauty professionals all over the world so that you wouldn't have to. And here is what I learned. Hey beauty pros, I'm Mary Alice. When I first started shadowing, I just wanted to have insight into another world. I wanted to see what is really happening out there. Is it any different than what is happening in the salon that I'm in? I wanted an additional perspective outside of the 2 salons that I had worked at outside of hair school. I wanted to see what else is possible. I didn't really have a specific skill or a specific goal. I just wanted to know what it's like to be immersed in an entirely new community, different vibe, different business with different leaders, different stylists, different clients even. And what would I get from that? What is there to learn in a new environment that I know nothing about? And here's what I found. Shadowing changed the way that I saw mentorship entirely. I used to think that mentorship was so structured. It was so sitting down, one person asking a question, the other person giving them the answer. And now I realized there is nothing further from the truth about mentorship. Mentorship is so powerful when it is experienced, when it is shown, when it is lived. And that is what I love so much about shadowing. It is like going out into the wild versus going to the zoo. We can package things and we can put them into a program or a class, but when we are immersed into the wild, there's just so much more going on that we have no control over and that we get to experience, and we're learning and growing as we are having this experience. For example, if someone comes in to get balayage, we're getting to see their hair in raw, natural state. We're getting to see the stylist doing the consultation, making decisions, figuring out what they want to mix, how they organize their color, how they speak to that particular customer. There's just so much more raw, organic experiences that shape how we do our services. It's not just about the actual placement or the actual toner or the actual product that they're using. There's so much more beyond and around surrounding that one skill that you learn from when you're shadowing. It's so much to take in. And I just think that there is nothing more valuable than shadowing in person with people outside of your specific sphere. One of my first shadowing experiences, I was so excited and nervous. I was very nervous because I had this idea of the beauty industry being very competitive, and I wasn't sure how I was going to be welcomed, what the energy would be like. Is it going to be okay if I'm standing? Is someone going to be upset if I'm standing in the way? Or I just didn't know what to expect. And that's what was so exciting. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the unexpected. I didn't want to just experience basics. I wanted a real, immersive, lived, open experience into the world of the professional beauty community, and that's exactly what I got. I learned how the stylist spoke with his customers. I learned how his styles shifted from different customer, how he greeted each person individually, customized. I got to witness how he had long-term relationships and new relationships and all the different ways that he catered to that in their services, how he built trust, how he did deeper consultations with some versus others, how he explained different steps of the services, how he talked about pricing, how he navigated his peers in the salon space, how he spoke to me about the color formulations that he was creating, even talking to him about things that he was uncertain about or that he was thinking about in the process, in the back room, what he was willing and vulnerable to share with me about some of his, his thought process with this guest, where he's like, I'm not sure if she's going to want to do this or this today, so we'll see. That's live. That's real. And when you get to experience someone else in the true form and their humanity in the same profession that you're in is just this big permission slip. It's just this big moment of realizing that even these experts, these people that I look up to, that are doing amazing work, that are in vastly different stages of their career, they are still going through these similar processes and asking themselves questions and keeping themselves on track with all these different types of systems. And seeing that in firsthand, it just like solidified this experience of being an artist and knowing that you have to stay on the journey and that there's nowhere to arrive. And these safety nets of having tools and systems and skills and ways that you check yourself along the process, like having really deep consultations or talking with other people in the back room or asking extra questions if you're unsure about the answer that the client is giving you. That is what keeps you growing. And that is what keeps you able to stay in this game and not have challenges so that you can keep enjoying it. That was something that I learned. I also learned that people that were the most collaborative made the most money. And the people that had this sort of attitude about like stuffiness or not feeling open to sharing or just sort of like blocking the shadowers in the salon energetically or just with their body language, it's so visible and it's so sad. And it was cool to see that it was a lack mentality. And the people that have enough skill, you can see the dynamic of the people that are sharing. They're already doubling their own skill just by sharing it. They're already growing 2 times as fast as the person that's learning, because now not only are they sharing it, but they're getting better at explaining it. Their client is also building in confidence because their client sees them teaching someone else. So their value has already gone up. The people that felt like bogarty of information or felt like this strange competitiveness energy, there was like a shrinking, and you could see people around them sort of disengaging. And even their clients, you could see sort of felt like cut off or left out of this like collective energy. And I think that was really a powerful lesson for me in any type of collaborative experience, is that you can see it, people feel it, whether or not they say anything, and you are shrinking when that happens. You're shrinking when you are blocking collaboration, even if it's just an openness. Because in that moment when I'm shadowing, the only form of collaboration I'm offering is witnessing. And when you're blocking that, or you're trying to stay, you're essentially saying, I don't want you to learn. I don't want you to progress because I'm scared that you're going to out-progress me. I never saw this person again in my life. I wasn't even from the same city. And they were scared of me out-progressing them. And that energy definitely affected their client experience. And I know that that's not the only place that that energy showed up. I know that energy showed up even when I wasn't there, with their coworkers or with, other experiences. But for me, that was a really powerful lesson, because you can see when you're removed from a situation and you don't know all the details and you're not involved in the dynamics. You can see who's growing and you can see who's not. And you can see where the energy and the momentum and where the clients and this momentum is moving towards. You can see who's bringing it in, and you can see opportunity. I think the most powerful thing about shadowing, where I just felt lit up, I felt so rejuvenated in my career from just this first day of shadowing. It felt like this incredible gift that I got to see, is getting to witness someone do what you do. And you get to see the value and the dynamic in the relationship. And there was this aha moment for me where I realized I was watching the stylist that I was shadowing and his client talking and catching up, and I was watching them relate on this, multi-year relationship that they had had going on, and talking about different looks that they had done throughout the years. And I realized I am that person to somebody. I am that person to many people. And what a gift, and what an opportunity, what a wealth there is just in this one aspect of the career. And it made me so grateful and walk away with a whole new perspective of seeing myself in this powerful position of being a beauty professional, and the amount of influence and the amount of communication and the amount of direction and choice that we have. I will never unsee it after I saw it in that way. And I hope that everyone gets to see that right out of the gate at the beginning of their career. And I hope we get opportunities to revisit it over and over again. Because like one of my mentors, Geneva Cohen, she said, you can't consult yourself. And she was talking about hair color in this moment. I went to her when I was trying to go from dark to blonde. And when you're in the middle of it, you're in the orange phase of color, you cannot consult yourself. And she said, we need each other. We need each other. You cannot consult yourself. And that is exactly how I feel about shadowing, is that it's this moment where you get to step away and step back into the arena and see all the magic that's going on, and take pieces that work for you, and also look at things and be honest with yourself internally without having to be criticized. Every time I shadowed, I went home and I made sure my brushes were cleaner. I made sure my station was cleaner. I watched someone tidying up the towels, and it ingrained and burned this desire within me to be that person. And I hadn't always been. I was especially driven by things that excited me. And sometimes those mundane things are very not exciting. But when I saw them in a different light, and I saw someone making the process beautiful, lining up new products, putting perfumes out for people to touch, putting out little affirmation cards, really making things their own, it gave me permission to do the same. And when you find that there is so much permission in these spaces, there's so much to create beyond the actual services, that is when it really starts to get exciting. Get out there and go shadow someone, and please let me know what you find. Please let me know your favorite parts, what inspired you, and I can't wait to see what you learn. And congratulations on taking a step towards growing your career.